It's a crazy world where banks can just turn around and say, no more thank you, we don't want any of your business. Whether you're a gold and silver seller and you have to go through the complete ringer to even open a business bank account relating to gold or silver, or whether you're just a stacker looking to sell some of your stuff, this might come to rear its ugly head for a lot of people. Perhaps your retirement plan was to sell a couple of coins at a time here and there. But if your bank thinks that you're running a business, they can close your account. They can report your transactions to HMRC, and you could get in a bit of a sticky wicket with the tax man about whether or not you're trading. And you could have done absolutely nothing wrong, but you are deemed guilty before you are innocent, and you have to prove your innocence with the authorities. It's not good, and it can happen to anyone. In fact, it has happened to a very prominent YouTuber in the US, Spectacular. And I want to share my experiences of being told off by my bank about my business banking. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for another Precious Metal Ramble where we have down-to-earth discussions about all things precious and shiny. Now, I've got two completely different elements of precious metal stacking worlds here on the table. We have a large pile of gold, which you will find out what is going to happen with in the not too distant future. If you needed any other reason to subscribe to our channel than to find out what I'm going to do with the big pile of gold, then do it now. But the fact that I have two things which are so vastly different here is really important for the topic at hand, which is about keeping a business separate from one's personal investments and finances. Because unfortunately in this country, in the United Kingdom, in Great Britain, we seem to be moving more and more over to a pretty intrusive banking system and society where your bank will just tell you off for no reason. Now, this is not in relation to anything that I'm currently experiencing. My bank has not told me off. I have been told off by my bank all the way back when I got started pouring silver, which is, I think, quite an interesting story to share. So I'll talk a little bit about that. But there are stories out there. One shared just this week from Spectacular. If you don't know who he is, go and check him out. Where his bank, the Bank of America, has just closed his bank account. That's it, gone. Well worth a watch. And I do think that that is going to happen more and more over the coming years. Now, you guys have been watching my channel for a while. You know about my bank rants. I've done a lot of bank rants, and it is something that I feel very strongly about when, I'm told by a bank they can't put a payment through, and I'm there just absolutely like, why? It's ridiculous, and they can't give you a good reason. It's just so annoying, and it's to protect you, the customer, but it's not. It's to protect them, the bank. It's just annoying. And it's happening more and more. And in fact, since I got started in the world of my own business and, of course, investing in precious metals, it's got even worse. It really has got catastrophically bad, to the point where if I was starting out right now and I was just trying to do little bits of hobbying, like coin flipping for a hobby or something like that, I would just forget it, because you could get in so much trouble with your bank. Your bank might just go, yeah, no, you're running a business from your bank account, so we're going to close your account because of that. Or they might say, no, you're just not the kind of customer we want because you're dealing with gold and silver. That is a big thing. And I know from experience that there are other precious metal related businesses out there that struggle to open bank accounts when they have business bank accounts, I should say, when they fully declare, as you really should do, that it is a bullion related business. And I remember when I opened my business bank account, I had to go through a rather extensive questionnaire about what my business was, what my business was doing, what I was buying, where I was buying it from, the kind of companies I'd be buying from. I even had to list some of the suppliers of my business at the time. So lots of really kind of interesting questions that were asked of me, and it was hilarious because at the time one of my biggest suppliers was the European Mint in Estonia, and the young trainee, I can only imagine he was a young trainee, on the other end of the phone when I had this little phone consultation, he said, Estonia, is that somewhere in Africa? Oh my God, the education system in this country, that's a topic for another time. But it's just one of those things, unfortunately, and I think it's only going to get worse. So after a quick word from today's video sponsor, I'm going to share my own personal story of when I got told off by my bank. And I think if that had happened now, rather than 10 years, when was it, 8 years ago, then I think I probably would have had my bank account closed. So quick word from Trusty Metrics and then back to our video. Testing your precious metals and making sure that they are indeed precious is really important. And to that end, I'm very happy to partner with Trusty Metrics, who are the UK's exclusive supplier of the Sigma precious metal verifiers. But it's not just the UK, they can supply all around the world, and they are really good at what they do. The machines are fantastic, and I stand by them as incredibly valuable pieces of kit to have for any stacker or small business or big investor. Whether you are testing gold on the investor model or testing big 100-ounce silver or indeed gold bars, they can test up to those big chunky gold ones as well. These machines will not let you down. They are fantastic and they are really good. They've helped me grow my business over the last few years to levels that I thought I wouldn't really ever get to. So go and check out Trusty Metrics. You can go and ask them any questions about the products, the different machines that they've got, and everything that you would need to know. All of their information is on the website, as well as all the different machines that they've got available for sale. So go and check them out. And as I said, they ship worldwide and they'll help you test your stack. If there's something you're not sure about, their customer service is second to none. And I can highly recommend them, the team, and these machines. So go and check out Trusty Metrics. Links are down in the description box below. So I, just like a lot of people, randomly started pouring silver or randomly started a business, and it took off, and YouTube was a thing to fuel that business. And I took inspiration from other people out there in the world of YouTube, and I made my own pieces, and then people started emailing me saying, can I buy this? Can I buy that? Can I do this? And I was like, yes, sure. And then all of a sudden, we were also organising things like the European Mint group orders. We were buying lots of different things. I was even at the very earliest outset helping other dealers with drop shipping and things like that. It was really, really interesting and fun and different. But then eventually I got a little message from my bank. I actually got a phone call from my bank, I should say. And they said, we think you might be running a business from your bank account. Is this the case? What are you doing? And I was like, yeah, I am. I said, is that a problem? And they went, well, yes, it is a problem. It's not in our terms and conditions. You're not allowed to do that. And we want you to open a business bank account or we're going to close your account. So whilst they didn't just close my account straight away, they invited me to apply for a business account. Now, I could have gone with any other bank to open that account. I chose the same bank, NatWest, to open my business account with. And don't even get me started on business accounts. They're expensive. They're not great in terms of like usage and charges and every time. Here's a tip. If you want to bankrupt a business, send them like 100,000 transactions of 1 penny a time, because you get charged 35 pence every time you receive money in your bank account. That's how you can bankrupt a business. It's crazy. Please don't do that to my business, anybody. Anyway, the point is that I was asked to apply for a business account. Now, if we transport that very situation to now to 2025, where all the banks out there are absolutely beside themselves with fear and anguish about being party to anybody who's not quite legit or who is, I don't know, in their eyes doing not great things, then they just get rid of you. And they won't even ask questions. They won't even ask the facts of the matter. They won't even tell you most of the time as to what's going on. And I think that can be triggered by a whole host of other things. And I have seen and heard tales of people having their bank question them about selling gold or buying gold. I mean, buying gold, they get questioned all the time. But I had one customer last year who sold a lot of gold and silver through us, and he got his funds frozen for 48 hours in his bank. And when he was telling his bank why he had a lot of money come in all in one go, they just weren't happy about it at all. They did not like it. They held his money. Needless to say, he absolutely complained and then closed his bank account as soon as that was all done and dusted. But I think it speaks volumes to what really is going on in this society, which is the banks obviously want complete control over our money. And unfortunately, they kind of have us over a barrel, because now they report all of, oh gosh, the light's awful on that one, sorry. Because now they report all of your untoward earnings to HMRC, you see. So you have to be careful with these things. Not that anybody would necessarily be deliberately avoiding paying the correct amounts of tax and so on, but it can be very easily misconstrued by a bank. If you were selling a bunch of gold Britannias, completely capital gains tax exempt, let's say you bought a couple of, well, not even a couple, let's say you bought a bunch of them, let's say you bought 100 of them, and then you decide to sell one a week for 100 weeks, 2 years, just because that gives you a trickle income for your retirement. That would be fine. That was a part of my retirement plan once upon a time, to have a trickle down of my gold and just sell it once every couple of weeks and job done. But oh no, if you do a number of transactions like that, or the bank suspects that perhaps you're running a business, they will maybe close your account. They will probably, most certainly, in fact, they are legally required to, in certain cases, depending on the volume of transactions and the total amounts, send that data off to HMRC. And then you might get a awkward brown envelope through the door from HMRC saying, we think you might be trading. And then it'll be, and it's not like innocent until proven guilty with HMRC. You have to defend yourself. They will say, we think you're trading, therefore you owe us a boatload of tax. And it's then up to you to go to HMRC and say, no, actually, I bought these coins 10 years ago and it's part of my retirement, blah, blah, blah. So how are you going to do that? Have you got good records for it? You need to have those records for it. You need to be able to prove that. You need to be able to prove with HMRC that you're not trading. And there are a whole host of different things that you can use to kind of help your case on that front. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to a judgment call. And if there's large amounts of tax dollars at stake to bring in the money into the coffers, could well just go the wrong way, and that would suck. So from my perspective as an investor and a business owner, I try very, very hard, and then I keep very good records of my investment products, stuff that's me, the personal investment side, and then stuff that is the business. And the poured silver side of things is the business. And that is the most important thing, to keep them separate. So I think it's a really interesting situation that is going to potentially bite a lot of people in the backside. And it's not necessarily that you're doing something wrong either, and you don't know that you would potentially get caught out by these things. And that's assuming that your bank or your institution actually has a legitimate concern. Maybe they're just taking a precautionary approach and just blanket banning and blanket getting rid of a number of different people. And it's really difficult because, of course, you want a level of privacy, a modicum of privacy in your own life. And when you perhaps are buying a bunch of gold, and like I've been doing with a few of my banks, every time I've got these stupid questionnaires to fill out because they go, oh, we're just trying to protect you, sir, because we think you might be being scammed. And it's like, no, I've got the gold coin in front of me from somebody and I want to pay for it. And then they, they really have to know what it is. And the few times that I've actually pushed back on them and said, actually, no, I'm not going to tell you because it's private and it's not something you need to know. And how do I know who I'm speaking to on the end of the phone? How do I know that person's not going to just jot down my name and address and come and rob me at a later date? You don't know. So, but if you don't have that information shared, then again, they might just shut your bank account down. And there are worse tales as well. I'm not going to try and scaremonger, but I've watched some videos from a very good YouTuber called the Black Belt Barrister, who's had to deal with people who are selling personal possessions and then not being forthright with their bank about what it is they're selling because they want to share their own private. They don't want to share their own private lives with them, and then the bank has put them on like a ban list. They've blocked them from ever opening a bank account again. And if you're not like me and you don't have 10 different bank accounts because you shop around and get the best deals for your current accounts and savings accounts, maybe you might be a bit up poo creek, to coin a phrase. It's really shocking and it's really sad. And I think it's just the state of I guess it's not just this world now, because you've got to look at the spectacular situation where he's just they cancelled his bank account. It happens here in the UK. It's happening more in the UK. I think it's going to happen more in the UK. And I genuinely do think that one day it's just going to be, it's going to completely put the kibosh on any of my intermediary stuff, because I just can't be dealing with this. It's just so annoying to have to deal with as an intermediary, and as a seller and a buyer, it's just not good. So one day I think I'll just call it quits and be gone. And I don't know, then my retirement plan to sell one coin a month for the rest of my life probably won't work, because I'll get told off by the bank or by HMRC. I don't know. It's finishing a bit of a doom and gloom, aren't we? Let's finish on a little bit of a positive. There will be some very cool bits of poured silver coming in July. Haven't got an exact release date or anything yet. I'm still working on some of these. They need finishing. They need stamping, little bits and bobs on them. But there's some pretty cool pieces in here. Not all of this is for sale. We've got 3 vintage pieces, which I've kept in my secret forever stash. But there's some cool pieces in here that we will be finishing up, and then at some point in the near future putting them up for sale. Now, for you Cool Kids Club who've been watching for a long time, this is one of the first ever pieces of silver I poured. It's my star. You might see it on my YouTube channel every day and not realize because it's my logo. So here, 1.95, that is your secret phrase for the Cool Kids Club today. Thank you one and all for watching. We'll see you on the next video. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.